Now, you see, I'm not happy about this. And the reason I'm not happy, there's nothing I could do. Didn't want to talk. Didn't perform. And then it's just gone. David HOEY, he's a free agent. At the age of 30, I'm worried for him. Hello folks, welcome back to an episode of AFC Thames with me, DoctorBenjyFM. I said today would be a transfer update episode, and that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to talk through how we're going to change things a little bit tactically with this team, because I think we could all agree last season wasn't really good enough. So, with that in mind, the first thing we've changed is we no longer use, I don't know if you can actually see it, if we go here and here and here, and you can see no longer square viewers. It's a regular, it's a stationed pitch of regular size. Exciting times. You can see the teams that play there. Me. Competitions, those ones. Matches, those ones. So yeah, we've gone to a more familiar pitch. That's what we'll say. So Custom House, yeah, has had a little bit of a change around. Now, speaking of that, financially, we are in the absolute mud. 132,000 means that the ability for us to bring in transfers, obviously not the easiest when you've not got any money to spend, and the 4,500 that we had to spend is not really going to ever be enough. We're currently spending about 1,000 under our wage bill as well. You can see their wage budget just under 1,000, and lots of players, of course, as I'm sure you expect, have been suggested to us, and that has sort of dictated how our formation looks. Of course, we're in September. The league doesn't actually start until October, and we've still got a few friendlies to play. We're playing a side called Pickup next. I'm actually not managing the friendlies. I see friendlies more as sort of fitness exercises. I played the first couple, actually. I say this. I played the first couple just to try and test out the new system. So we beat a Frimley Green 4-2 and a 3-0 win over Wellingborough Whitworth, which is a very W-based name. You do know, if you're thinking of World Wide Web and you need something to remember it by, maybe Wellingborough Whitworth. I can't remember it, viewers. Let's move on. But yeah, Pickup, which I found out, Pickup Academy is just a place in London where pickup games happen at Drapers Field. And they've got a team in Football Manager. I don't know how. I don't know what the score will be against them. They can only buy players who are under 23. So there you are. Academy by name, Academy by nature. They have no players. It's just a warm-up, really, as are all the games there before we play our games against Hayes and Yeading United. And team-wise, right, this was going to be an interesting thing for me. We are still at the very bottom of the list, which is a little bit frustrating when I consider that the team I've got now to be somewhat better than the team we had last season. And let's talk through that then. David HOEY, as mentioned, has left the team. He's not the only one. Kieran Wakefield has also left us. He's gone to Staines Town and probably be very successful over there. Tom Devitt, our centre-back that I felt wasn't the main cause of the problems, but certainly wasn't making us better. So, yeah, we've moved him on. Zach Smith from central midfield has left us as well. Obviously, we've brought in quite a few players. And Minivan's gone. I mean, I wasn't expecting him to leave, viewers, but off he goes. Yeah, doesn't fancy sticking around. We could probably sign him back. He's that sort of, but no, he doesn't fancy it. Same goes for David HOEY. Right, so away from release players and over to all transfers. You can see there, Jarrell Plummer went to Rochdale under 18s on a free as well. Shout out to him. Just wanted to get out of here. So, comforting. 6 names, though, have been brought in. There's a couple here that I'm really quite excited about. And David Fisher, to kick things off, is potentially one of them. I've gone for mental attributes, as if that wasn't obvious for a striker. I feel like last season we had quick players that ultimately weren't finding the back of the net on a regular enough basis. David Fisher comes with a little bit of pedigree. Has been at AFC Wimbledon, has been at Braintree, had a very good season just a couple of seasons ago in the division below the Vanarama South North. So 22 goals in 40. If you can replicate that for us, potentially in a system that I think will suit him actually. Yeah, welcome to say David Fisher. Decent finishing, just nicely well rounded, and again those mentals a big plus for me as well. Moving on, Josh Payne from Chestnut. Was it Chestnut or Cheshunt? Sorry, Chestnut. Roasting on an open fire. Any excuse for it, any excuse. Josh Payne, though, you can see defensive midfielder mainly, and that's where he's going to play. His physicals are not all that, but we've brought in some experience. He's going to be a backup defensive midfielder. It's still an area where I think we maybe need somebody really good. It's the one area of the pitch that I think we've got a few problems, but we'll talk about that when we talk about the system in just a moment. Angus Brunt, I'm going to save. I like that I've bought 2 players from Cheshunt and 2 from Redditch, and I didn't even really know that that's what I was doing, but that's what I've done. Aaron Barnes, then, we'll go to him first. Right back, of course, we lost Minivan. We've gone for someone very similar to Minivan. A little bit concerning are his mentals, but again, you're going to have to lose something somewhere when you're getting players of this nature in. So it's got dead acceleration, good natural fitness, good stamina, good pace, tackling, marking, passing, all okay for this level. And 11 concentration, actually, at this level is pretty good too. 28 years of age, has been around an awful lot, started at Arsenal many, many moons ago. Now he comes back to London and joins us here at Thames. Brad Mass, is it? No, hang on. No. Maslin Jones, yes. Centre back, of course, we lost a couple of those as well. Tom Devitt, one of them. Very well rounded, quite similar to Tom Devitt, but I'm thinking it's got a few more key attributes, like just having things like 9 first touch, I think will be a benefit for us. Whether he starts or not, time will tell. Centre back, we're actually pretty good shape in, so I'm quite pleased with that. Lewis King, another one, free transfer. You can see very similar to the last guy, but probably slightly better again mentally. Seems to have a bit more of a well-rounded profile. Height of 5'10", probably the only concern, but yeah, looks pretty good. Again, decent history as well. Spennymoor, Canvey Island, has been playing at the division just below this for a long period of time, and he's stepping up now to hopefully come and play for us. And the jewel of the crown, really. Great name as well, probably the best name here. Angus Brunt is the only other player we've signed, and there he is. Angus Brunt comes in, 20 years of age, and I think you can already see, based on the other players we've looked at, looks really well-rounded and will fit perfectly in the midfield that I am picking this time around. Again, released from Charlton, had a year at Redditch, and now comes over to us, and I think he'll be a good addition to our side and provide us nice balance in, and you've been waiting for this, viewers, it's been a while, but I genuinely think this is going to help us out big time. We have switched, I thought I'd clicked it, to the diamond. Yes, and now that is why I think we've got this as a potential issue position for us, and a position that needs fixing relatively soon. It's interesting the way the team looks right now. Beaker is stepping in because Farley has picked up an injury early on. I'm still looking to bring in another striker, probably. So we've got 4 really good ones in rotation. Rasulo can also play there, but of course can play the advanced playmaker role or attacking midfield role that is currently occupied by a man that formerly spent a lot of time out on the right-hand side. I'm still concerned by his acceleration and his pace. One thing I'm not concerned about is his teamwork, first touch, flair, technique, work rate. And he might be a superstar in this role. Renard Calder, I'm expecting some big things, mate. Changing up where you play, keeping you as sort of the playmaker. It's going to be an interesting season for Renard Calder. I'm hoping he produces the goods. So now, in midfield, we've got the creativity of Angus Brunt alongside the creativity of a Cohen. And that should set us up now, I think, in theory, for a really, really good, hopefully heavy chance creation type season in midfield. Again, having that creativity needs the balance of someone sat just behind. So far, Bourne's doing that. I don't necessarily think he's quite good enough to do it. I worry about his positioning, his teamwork and his tackling. I think when you've got someone playing just in front of this back line, you need them to have stronger attributes. Defensively, we talked about players that have come in. Aaron Cool is still here as well. Maybe he's the man to step into that at some stage. He's got slightly better attributes for the role. And we mentioned, of course, Josh Payne, who's been brought in slightly better, especially mentally, but physically then lacking what Bourne's got. So I think there's probably a middle ground of players that could play in that role, and I've got a little bit of time to bring in free transfers before the start of the season, so I probably will do. At the back, there's a new name. Craig Ross is going to start the season in goal, a 35-year-old experienced goalkeeper that I'm hoping will keep things ticking along just a little bit more. Has played not that much football in recent times, so this is probably a bit of a gamble, and of course we've still got Fleming, who in theory, right, is an English under-18 international, under-17 international, who will certainly play for me. There was an issue last year, I found, though, with his consistency. 10 clean sheets in 39 games. Again, it might have been indicative of the players in front of him, but I think taking him out of the spotlight for a little bit and then bringing him back in later on will be key for us. Reeve is still in the back line, next to Barnes. Harfield's still there as well. Maslin Jones, who we talked about too. Lewis King will probably find himself in this 11 at some stage, but the defenders generally are quite well balanced with one another, as you can see if we just do it there. There's especially centre backs. If you take King, Reeve, Jones as well, we probably need another one in there, as Will Moses is probably a good 4th choice, but nothing more than that, not even close to that. And again, we've got a little bit of time if we so need it. So team-wise, I'm pretty happy. You can see just from those star ratings, really, if I move my head a little bit, we are definitely more dominant in attacking areas, and I think creating chances, scoring goals is going to be absolutely crucial. Tyreese Lewis is still here, playing on the left-hand side if we need him to. Could probably play him behind a striker as well. Like, it's got similar attributes to Renard Calder in that he's got good teamwork, he's got some nice flair, technique's decent, passing not too bad, and could probably feature in behind a striker if required. The big thing we didn't have last season, and is going to be crucial for this year, is goal scoring. And I think that the problem we had with the lack of goal scoring was the lack of chances. And I hopefully think that that's been rectified now. Having these 3 midfielders, it'll be interesting to see how they balance out, whether we'll have to change some player instructions. Maybe we'll have one of them sitting slightly wider or not. But for now, We're going to keep things pretty steady and hopefully look forward to the season. This is very much, and I want to make this clear, this is very much an update video rather than a look at all the business we've done. But because there's such a long time period between the summer window and the first league game, I want to get straight into league games tomorrow. I'm actually going to probably play a few before we get there. I might start in and around sort of the Western Supermare game at Burgess Hill. Odyssey Spy Rides is probably still there. Do we try and sign Odyssey Spy Rides? We can't afford him. The man's a machine. I mean, last year, it's interesting, isn't it? We've played Burgess Hill a lot, and David HOEY struggled a lot last season, and so did Odyssey Spy Rides when you compare that to the previous season in a slightly weaker division. Interestingly, where are Burgess Hill predicted to come this season? Of course, we're at the bottom of it. Not looking great, 450 to 1. I mean, it's not ideal, is it, viewers? Let's take a look then. Where are Burgess Hill? 12th. So, I mean, they'll probably take that. That's not too bad. But no players in the Dream 11. Not that I expected us to really be in there. You see Woking, the favourites for the league title this season. Let's just take a look just to compare. I mean, some of their players are like good just without being great. I mean, he's quite pacey, got good agility, but I think anything can happen. I don't really pay attention too much to the list of sort of odds in the league table. I don't think it's going to make, as I say, that much difference. I think transfer-wise, we've done okay. I definitely think we need another defensive midfielder. I also think left-back is an area that we could probably improve upon. Danny Hogg's been here for a long time, but it hasn't developed in terms of tackling and marking, so he's never going to fill in that role, and actually might be someone that we look to move on, similar to Billy Lowe's that's been here for a long time now. Neither of those boys, I think, will feature so much this season, as I think having quality depth is going to be crucial this year, and yeah, some of these boys are probably going to have to be moved on. But of course, I don't want to get rid of them until I knew that we could bring in other players, but quite a few of them also are out of contract, so it's quite easy to let them go. Renard Calder is one of those players, currently not contracted, but we're paying him 250 quid per week, and yeah, if someone comes in and tries to take him, well, that could be a problem. So overall, happy, lots of potential in the side, like the likes of a Cohen and Brunt could be here for a little while now. It shows you how far we're coming sort of as a team, as Mbika at 29 now came in as like this superstar player that played in behind, was going to be really good and still looks incredibly well rounded. According to the star ratings, I don't really know how much you pay attention to those viewers, but it doesn't look like he's going to be in this team for much longer. But again, if he's putting in performances, we can probably accept that. 10 goals last year, 5 assists. We hope he'll build on it in this coming season. And of course, he's played National League North football before, so this might be an area where she can still continue to thrive in. And putting him up front in a few games might also be that, right? The thing with Mbika, having him to come off the bench is probably going to be the way we play him this year with Farley. Definitely the man I'd like to play alongside the new man, David Fisher. So, little rundown of the squad, just to give you an idea of the way things are working out. Again, financially, it's a problem. I've not been able to get an affiliate club. I'm sure a few people are wondering about that. Of course, we're still semi-professional, so the ability for us to bring in players is still problematic, is the phrase I would say. We're just like, we're at a point where our reputation is lower than everyone else in this division, so it makes it incredibly difficult to fight some of these sides in terms of personnel they've got. Maximus Rigby there is far and away one of the best midfielders, I should say, in the league. Carlson next to him as well. Incredibly well-rounded. These are the sort of players that I would love to come back to this division and take to the next level. Conversely, actually, let's just see how we do against Pickup. I want to see how we do against the side called Pickup Academy. I hope it's quite dominant. If it's not, if we lose to Pickup Academy, then I think we have to retire. 5-0, and Baker and Fisher in the goals. I should say as well, although Farley's out injured at the moment, he may just about, it's going to be really, really close, 3 weeks' time before we play our first league games on the 7th of October. Because, again, Football Manager has this weird thing. I don't know if it's custom databases or all databases where the national leagues start a little bit later. Of course, it's to do with the COVID situation. So, yeah, lots of games to play. A big season, and a season that if I'm going to set a target for the first half of the year, I'd love to be 10th or above in the first half of the season. Again, it might require me to do a little bit of delving into the transfer market still. I don't think I'm happy quite yet, but again, I want this to be an update video. Doing transfer windows takes a little bit longer, so sorry there weren't any games today, but of course that will return back again tomorrow, and hopefully you enjoyed this rundown of the way things are going. Leave your thoughts in the comment section and drop a like if you enjoyed, and I'll see you again for more. Make sure you subscribe too, why not? We'll have a care then for me to mention until next time. I'll see you again very, very soon. Goodbye. People that are watching the Chelsea series are now thinking, oh, is he serious all the time? Oh no, I've still got the harmonica to hand when needs be. Don't you worry.